Hey, good morning, everybody. Bill Faith here from Build Short-Term Rental Wealth. This is like video number 2 of the backyard series. You might hear some construction going on. Construction is going on everywhere. And it's in my neighborhood. I hear a saw going. I got people doing roofs over there, add-ons, additions, kind of very similar to what we're seeing in the vacation rental markets and pretty much everywhere in the real estate market right now. But today, I want to talk to you about how you can break into the short-term rental market with like literally no money. So this is not about borrowing money from friends and family. It's not about, going and getting loans or anything like that. It's literally about starting with zero. And that's kind of the misconception. There's so many people that teach rental arbitrage, if you've heard that term before, and they say you can get started with almost no or low cost. Well, that's not necessarily true. Because if you go and you're leasing a $2,000 a month apartment, typically they want a $2,000 deposit. They want at least first month's rent, sometimes last month. So that's $4,000, possibly $6,000. Then you got to furnish the thing. And if you're doing a 1-bedroom apartment, you're probably looking at least $5,000 to go in and furnish that. Everything from plates, to linens, to beds, couches, bathroom amenities, all that type of stuff. It's just not that cost efficient. I shouldn't say cost efficient. It's not cheap to be able to do that. So if it's like $4,000 up front and another $5,000, you need at least $9,000. And I look at people that are getting into arbitrage, you probably need about $7,000 to $12,000 bare minimum to be able to get started. Now you can still buy properties and do what I call retail flips. I just did one down a beach property that we bought. It was a 3-bedroom, 3.5, paid $535,000 for it. Didn't plan on selling, was gonna hold it through the summer and then potentially look at selling it or continue to hold it based on the performance. My wife and I put $15,200 into it. Couches, bedding, dining room tables, coffee tables, outdoor furniture, paint, ceiling fans, Pac-Man game, all this type of stuff. And we were actually to sell it 3 days. Even before we'd done all this stuff, we put it under contract for $625,000. So we'll end up netting $69,000 profit on that deal. That does not include the rental income, which will be about $12,000 in rental income, probably around $9,400 net, actually, because we did a interest-only loan because we knew we wouldn't hold on to this long term. So we have like one payment in that time period of like $1,200. It's crazy. So that's not about how you get into this for no money, but that's how you can get and do a retail flip for a little money, clear some cash, and then reinvest into bigger properties. We'll talk about that in a later YouTube video. But today, if you don't have that type of capital, if you don't have 20% down, if you don't want to pay 7%, if you haven't seen what Fannie and Freddie, came out with about a week ago with the new interest rates for second homes and for investment properties, you're going to probably need to go commercial. And if you don't go commercial, because I don't want you to go hard money, then we need to find a solution on how we can break into this business. And for me, it's not rental arbitrage. I don't know why people want to invest into condos and apartments and small homes and have these $2,000, $3,000 a month mortgages that they're not gaining any equity in to build long-term wealth, when, you know what, I'll just find the owner of that property, I'll do my own research, and very simply, I'll say, I'll offer to come in and manage it for you, and once I get really good at it, then I'll even give them some type of a guarantee. So here's the deal. I now manage properties. I didn't when I first started. I never even thought about managing properties, but I'll be really honest with you. I joined this new social media platform called Clubhouse, and everybody on Clubhouse, all they talk about is managing properties, co-hosting, and rental arbitrage. I'm like the unicorn or the black sheep. I'm the only guy that's talking about finances, talking about buying and investing into, building long-term real estate wealth and using everybody else's money. I'm gonna take a term from Grant Cardone. Where's my money? I'm using everybody else's money. Those are my guests that are coming in to pay to stay at my properties, right? And I'm doing like 5 to 7 times, well, probably, I guess across the board, probably 3.5 to 5 times what I would do versus LTR, long-term rentals. So, but at some point, because I don't have a gazillion dollars, I run out of cash because I don't want to put everything into my real estate portfolio. I want to have an evenly distributed portfolio for retirement. I'm 47, I plan on retiring at 60. So I hold on to some of my cash. I need to find other abilities, and I love this business. I love this segment, and I'm in multiple others. So I started a management company, really a co-hosting company. And Number one thing, I'm gonna go through some things. If you want to start through co-hosting, if you want to start through management, it literally costs, well, it's not nothing, because you're probably gonna need to set up an LLC, which you can do for about $300 depending on the state. You can literally do it on your own. Go to the Secretary of State, don't pay an attorney, don't go pay the fees at LegalZoom. Just create an LLC, take your articles of origination, go to the bank, open up a bank account, and then the next thing is starting your research. So I wanna find that one property. Number one, I wanna focus on a market. What market do you want to go into? And it does not have to be in your market. So the type of co-hosting / management I'm talking about is remote management. I'm not doing the cleanings. I'm not personally doing the handyman work. I'm not doing any of that type of stuff. So the first property that I took on was in Gulf Shores, Alabama. And the second property I took on actually was here in Nashville, Tennessee, but it's about 20 minutes away from me. And what I look at is the mindset. And it's the same thing with self-managing. A lot of people say, well, I can't do that. And a lot of owners say, well, I got to have boots on the ground. Not if you can build a case study and show them how you have benefited a previous owner or other owners. So I look at, like for me, for build short-term rental wealth, for me to gain credibility when I first started this, I had to show people what I had done personally. So the first thing I did for proof of concept is I took a property that I had called Bella Vista, big yellow beach house down in Gulf Shores, Alabama. And when I bought it, it was doing about $55,000 a year in revenue. Well, when I sold it, it was doing I actually did $112,000 in revenue. But when I wrote the case study, it had done $98,000 over the last 12-month run rate. So the case study was how I took a $55,000 property and turned it into a $98,000 property. And I walked through every step of how I did that. And that gained credibility for me right off the bat as the first component. So what I challenge you to do is find, number one, pick your market, then look for the underserved properties. Look for the underserved, the ones that have poor images, the ones that have open slots on their calendar that should be filled, the ones that have bad copywriting, that they're trying to acquire everybody. They're not really focused on a specific niche of buyer / guest that they're trying to attract. And think about how you would improve that listing. How would you improve the space? How would you improve the interior? How would you improve the furnishings, the amenities, the convenience? Are they doing a manual check-in process? Do they have video on their VRBO listing? Do they have digital guidebooks uploaded into their listings? All of these things. And when you don't see that, but you see a pretty cool property that's being underserved, that's your target. Then you go in and you just make sure that there's no Evolve or Vacasa, there's no management company on it, and just message, the owner of the property. And if you don't want to message them, then go to the Secretary of State for that state or the county and pull the title records and get their contact information, or find out their name and then connect with them on LinkedIn. There's a million ways to be able to connect with them. And I'm gonna tell you, that's exactly what I did to get started. I found this property down in Gulf Shores that, man, it was a beautiful property. It looked like it was outdated. Looked like a 2000, probably 9, 10, 11 design, the old wicker furniture, the dark tones, some faux painted walls like the Tommy Bahama design type of stuff. But it was still, the bones looked fantastic online. The pictures were dark. It was really hard to see, but it was on the beach and it was for sale. And because it was for sale and it was for sale by owner, is why I reached out to the owner. And I went and I did a little bit of research in the tax records to see what I could find out roughly what he paid to have it built, when he had it built, and I knew what he was selling it for, and he was going to take a significant loss. So I just contacted him. I said, hey, I'm not really interested in buying your property, but I own down here and I'm building just down the street from you. What would you say, and this is after a little bit of discussion, he did about $85,000 in revenue in the previous year trying to rent, and that's why he wanted to sell. It was just too much work for him and not a high enough investment. I said, well, what would you say if I co-hosted for you? And what if I could guarantee you to do $110,000 in revenue? So I'm talking about literally adding $25,000 in revenue to his property. I said, would you want to keep your property if you did that? And he said, well, how much are you going to charge me? And I said, that depends on what you'd like for me to do. What I would suggest is I have a 10% package, I have a 15% package, I have an 18% package. And all of those come with a $299 a month retainer fee. And he's like, I've never heard of a property management company charging a retainer fee. I said, you're 100% correct. but you've probably also never heard of a property management fee that's not going to require you to sign a 1-year minimum contract, and that's not going to require to be attached to any future earnings. He's like, wow, I haven't. So that's value proposition number 1, 2, and 3 for you right there from a positioning standpoint. And then I said, let me email you a case study, because I had a place in Fort Morgan about 20 minutes away from where your property is located. And I want you to see exactly how I turned a $55,000 revenue house that I purchased into a $98,000 revenue house. And I sent it to him. And about 15 minutes after I sent it to him, he called me. He's, I'm very, very interested. Can you send me over a contract? And I'd love to talk about the particulars and how we get started. So a combination of doing things differently than other property managers. Think about what your buyers, what the owners don't like. They don't like long-term contracts. They've all heard the horror stories of working with property management companies. I did mine at, what most people are charging 20 to 25%. I'm doing it 18%. And I'm charging a $299 fee. That's a little bit of a hurdle to get over, but that adds, on a property that's doing $150,000 a year, literally about 3 or 4% for me. So that's the way that I've structured it. I do my own research first, define market, find the properties, and it took me about 6 properties before I found that one. Find the properties that are underserved, reach out to the owner. If you can't connect with them on an OTA, an Airbnb, VRBO, booking.com, then go grab title. And sometimes they'll have emails, sometimes they'll have phone numbers, sometimes you'll just get the name and the address of the property. Then you can always send them a postcard, drop them a direct mail piece, email, whatever it is, and create value for that buyer. So you've got to be confident enough to be able to educate that buyer. I talk about educate, then inform. So educate them on what they can do to make more money. Then number 2, come in and inform them of how you can help them do that and give them options. Never just come in with one option. Everybody wants options. And then you sell them and then you close. But the whole key here is you need that case study. So the one part I haven't shared with you is I did it for him for 30 days for free. 30 days for free. At the time, I've got multi-million dollars worth of properties. I self-manage by myself every one of my properties, and I did it for him for free because I wanted to break into that market. And even though I had the case study, I knew I needed I needed him to not just be a client, I needed him to be an ambassador for me. I needed the testimonials. I needed people to be able to call him. I wanted him to give me referrals. So I did it for free for 30 days. No 10% commission, no nothing on top of it, no strings attached. And I said, Jerry, I'm so bleeping confident that I'm gonna be able to over-deliver for you. I'm gonna do this for you for 30 days. How does that sound? And if I can hit, and I set a benchmark, if I can hit this benchmark, we'll move forward. Are you on board with that? And he said, absolutely. That's how you close. So what I want you to do is, we're 12 minutes and 50 seconds into this video. I want you to go back and watch it again. You can skip past the first 2 minutes of all that type of stuff, but get into the core here and look at the steps and understand the value proposition is the close. Go in a reverse order here. It's the case study, it's the underperforming properties, and it's that you are confident and willing to do it for a period of time for free to get your first one. Once you do that once, you'll never have to do it again. And then you're going to be on your way to building a portfolio of management / co-hosting with no money involved. You can manage this as a side hustle. No problem. I promise you. All you need is a little bit of automation from SmartBNB, Your Porter, OwnerRez, something like that to get started. Even just, AirBNB automation or the scheduling that they have. And I promise you, you can do it as a side hustle to get started with no money down. No money down. I know that's a great deal for a lot of you that don't have the cash to invest the way that I do. Just wanted to share that with you, and that's exactly the way that I got into co-hosting and property management. Thank you for joining me. If you found any value, don't forget to subscribe. Smash that subscribe button. And then, man, if this is really valuable, share it with a friend. Because I need more subscribers. Because I'm putting out some really great content, and we need to share it with everybody else, because this is the real deal. Backyard Stories with Bill from Build Short-Term Rental Wealth. Have a great day, everybody.